Welcome back to Lakers Fast Break. My name is Jamie Sweet. I'm here with fellow Lakerholic, Laker Tom. Before we get started, like and subscribe. Come on by the blog at Lakerholics.com. And Tom and I will chat you out a little bit. Let's see if we can make this look a little better, actually. Hold on a sec. Tom, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine, Jamie. Always good to have a win the night before.
That's right.
2 in a row, and like I told you before the game, Lakers ranked #1 in defense the last 2 games.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I'm not sure that that's a. It's a pretty small.
You want to take that to the bank yet?
I'm not taking that one to the bank yet. It's a pretty small sample size, all things considered. But you know what? It's like I said, it's trending in the right direction.
It's going in the right direction, so we got to be grateful for that. You know, it's
yeah.
But I did think that there was some really. The thing that's really impressed me is how good Dinwiddie is on defense. I was really not aware that he was that good a defensive player.
Agreed. He's
by far. I mean, without having Vando.
Yeah,
he has really turned into a valuable player for us.
I mean, it definitely makes me feel like the bench is a little bit more of a strength, even with all the injuries.
Kind of fights Darwin's biases too. This could help.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was. I'm sure you read it. There was an article about the state of the Lakers by none other than Javon Buha during the week. I think it dropped like 2 days ago, yesterday, maybe even.
Right.
Where they, did a little bit of a deep dive on the numbers when it comes to Taurean Prince's on the court, off the court.
Yeah.
And listen, some of that, the problem
not necessarily to Taurean's detriment. It's just that
no,
he's just been overused in the wrong role.
He's been overused and overexpected of, I believe.
Right.
If you drive a Pinto and your dream is to be a stock car drag racer, well, let me tell you,
probably you should not trade for anybody or sign anybody who has previously played for Darvin Ham.
or the Miami Heat. That's those
or the Miami Heat. That's a separate issue, but
no more players.
I'm sure we could do a 5 things on that one, Jamie.
I think that the only player that's done well is LeBron.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not true. Lamar Odom had a nice career as a Laker. He may never have played the role that he played in Miami as a Laker.
Yeah.
But I always thought that he was sort of the perfect guy to have around Kobe because he was such a willing playmaker, such a willing mover of the ball.
Yeah, that's true. But it's so nice to have a guy coming off of Ham's bench who really can play and who is a better defender and a better offensive player than most of the guys on the bench.
Yeah. I don't know about that. It depends on who's coming off the bench, kind of.
Right.
In this iteration of the Lakers, yes, having a guy like Dinwiddie fill the role that we were hoping Gabe Vincent would fill this season and just hasn't been able to do so for a number of reasons.
And I don't think Gabe's going to get a chance because of Spencer.
I agree. I totally agree. So,
it's so boring when you agree with me all the time, Jamie. Come on, man.
No, but I don't know that even if you were to make it back to the floor, I
know. Why take the chance?
It's
it's a break glass in case of emergency type of situation now.
When it came to Kendrick Nunn, it was this bone bruise that would not heal, right? Which basically amounted to a season ending or a career ending in his case, I believe.
I think it's a contagious one. He passes it on to the next guy for another year,
Well, that's the thing. They're both from Miami, right? So it's the old Miami guys with bad knees. You got to just steer clear from now on, Rob. All right, just steer clear.
This morning I turned on Sirius Radio and who's on but Kendrick Nunn talking about how he's been playing overseas and he's hoping for a shot back in the NBA.
Oh, I'm sure he is. But you're going to have to grind like Isaiah Thomas is grinding. Here's an example. There's a great example. There's a perfect example of a guy who everybody counted out. Everybody was like, "Oh, this dude's toast." That hip impingement, whatever that issue was, that robbed him of his Brinks truck moment. Because that's basically what happened, right?
That's when you don't want to be playing for the Boston Celtics, man.
Well, listen, I don't know that any team would have backed up the Brinks truck for him in that case, in that event. But you just always feel for those guys who, and that's why I just feel for guys. I mean, as a pro athlete,
Like Boogie getting screwed out of that big contract, and
all of it, right? Like
all those types of situations are heartbreaking.
Yeah, because they have such a small window.
Because the guy really deserved it. It's
Yeah,
a player who, before he got injured, was really something special.
I agree. I agree.
Those are the guys that you root for. There's another universe where they're superstars, man.
Well, and like, to Cousin's own, detriment, he was maybe not the best, most easily accessible player once he got to role player status, which I'm sure he didn't believe in his mind he was ready for. Yeah. And that
always comes 2 or 3 years after the physical part of the game.
Well, but that's the story. That's the caution. That's the inspiring part, in my opinion, about the Isaiah Thomas story, right? Yeah. It's like whether he wanted to accept it or not isn't the point. He did, and he pushed through, and he persevered. I don't know if you've read any of the articles about him lately that have dropped on various.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's not doing this thinking like, and now this is my way back. He's like, I just want to contribute. Yeah. Whatever you need me to do, I will do. You want me to be somebody in practice? I'll be somebody in practice. You want me to just take a young guy off to the side and say, slow down. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. That's the mentality you need once your athleticism leaves you. Whatever you're
and it's hard for the mental part of it to catch up to the physical part of it.
I can't imagine what it would be like to have, something like my imagination taken away from me out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's it. You don't imagine things anymore.
Well, do you still play basketball?
Whatever. I've never experienced my livelihood being threatened because something that I'd counted on for my entire life suddenly just wasn't there.
Right.
It was. I could think about it. I remember it, but it doesn't work. Nothing works the same. And now I've got to figure out a new way of making this work. And so that's
hard. It's hard. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a superstar or just a guy who goes down to the gym every Saturday like I did for most of my life.
Right.
Man, it is hard to make that adjustment. I can remember the first time when I couldn't fake people out and get by them. I fell down. I was like 55 years old, and I took my son out to the court. I won the game at the end with a bank shot, a 3-point bank shot that was just totally luck and totally the only thing I could even throw up at that point in the game.
Yeah.
And you get to a point, then all of a sudden the injuries start to happen, and you can't even make a free throw. You can't get it up to the free throw ball.
Well,
so you have a shoulder replacement, and you go through all these things and
right.
Yeah, man, now I'm just trying not to walk like Joe Biden. I don't want to end up walking like Joe Biden.
You know what? Joe can walk though, so it's not.
He can walk, but man,
that's right. Let's not knock it.
It's eggshells, though. It's eggshells, man.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, you watch both what will be both presidential candidates, and you think like, okay, make it across the gangway. Okay. You made it across it. Okay, make it down the steps. There's only 5 of them.
Really? Do not put stairs in front of these guys.
Yeah, no,
give them places to trip or anything like that. That's
more moving sidewalks. Pretty soon we'll see moving sidewalks and lifts in the White House. Anyway, let's not get into politics. Although I know you and I generally see, I'm pretty sure fairly eye to eye.
Yeah, I will. I'm sure we do.
But I mean, we're from California, folks, so it's hard not to be, swinging a little bit to the left if you get my drift. And if you don't swing a little bit to the left, well, that's your prerogative. Yeah. I just hope you do real research and not YouTube. What's his truth? Social media network, whatever it is, research. Anyway, moving on briskly. Like and subscribe, just for Gerald's sake.
Last night's game was. Man, we were so sloppy with the ball, and
it looked like we'd had 3 days off, but not.
Well, it also looked. I was also impressed with. Man, I'd love to have Nick Nurse as our coach. They came out and played great defense. They played great defense against us.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to. I think your best case scenario is Coach Bud. Unfortunately, after Ham, I think that's the top name. That would be my. I don't see them giving enough. If Ham doesn't work out this summer, if they come out of the playoffs, whatever happens, and front office is like we really appreciate what you did, but we just don't see this working going forward. It just doesn't work. It's not working. they're not going to do another rookie head coach. So that knocks.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, unless it was something really unusual like Rondo or somebody
I don't
like
even
that.
think they'd go Rondo. Not because what are you going to do? Ask LeBron? Like, you can't run a team like that. You just can't run a team like that.
The difference. No, there's what you're saying is so logical in the sense that if you get somebody like Budenholzer, the guy is an organized coach who's got he's got a proven record.
He's one of the few coaches.
And the other side about it is that it's interesting in retrospect to look back at the decision made by Pelinka to back off of allowing the coach to make his own decisions with respect to who he's going to put on the court.
Uh-huh.
And Jamie?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I just sort of lost everybody here. I can't see the screen at all. What's going on there?
I think we're good.
Yeah, wait a second.
You've frozen on my end, but I can hear you. Anyway. There you go. Oh, man.
No, what happened was the I'm sorry. What were we talking about?
Rondo and
Rondo, right?
And it would actually be Bud.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, right? Like, there's too many things that make sense. He's coached a LeBron-like player in Giannis. It opens up, however unlikely, a path for Giannis to become a Laker, which nobody's going to be pissed about that.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but all of that would start to come out and be a part of be a part of it all. So
yeah. I hope that something like that happens, but you get into this battle where I do want the team to do well, and if the team does well, they're probably not going to fire him.
But what's well? What's well?
It's make the conference finals again. I think that would be quite an accomplishment.
That is a tall task, in my opinion, right now. That is a tall task.
But I don't think it's an impossible task because
no, of course not. No, you could see if there's a series where AD and LeBron play like AD and LeBron are supposed to play, and Rui and D'Lo average an efficient 20 points a game, and Austin Reeves plays an Austin Reeves game, that's a tough series for any opponent, Denver included.
And there's some teams that we match up very well against that don't want to play us.
Right, but I mean,
just like other teams, like we don't match up well against the Kings and the Nuggets,
No, but we're going to go through at least one of those teams to get to where we're going. If not, potentially both. There is an unfortunate pathway.
But we can beat anybody out there, I think, in the West. I do think also too that I don't think the Nuggets are 8-0 better than we are. I think that
what leads you to this? What leads you to this incredible optimism, Tom?
Well, because we're close in every game until the end, and their players have outperformed, so it's just the law of averages, that's going to balance out some, and I also think too that LeBron, it's really interesting the way that LeBron's defense, for example, if he really plays well, it becomes a different factor on defense because he can still stop guys.
He can.
He still is, and when he's engaged, man, the rest of the team really does get engaged. It's when he takes off that it's really tough because
really bad. Well,
because just letting guys fire away from three is just.
Or just not rotating over to the guy who's closing to dunk the ball, and watching like kind of going like.
But hey, listen, he's 39 years old, and there's some days he probably
that's the horse the cart's attached to, and he's going to pull it as far as it goes. Yeah. So that's just the reality, right? There's no getting away from that. And however long this lasts, this year, next year, 20 years, who knows, right?
It's hard to say there'll never be another LeBron, but I don't think there ever will be.
It's hard to imagine one. I feel like you look at the body type and you think, okay, maybe the closest player in the league right now is honestly Rui Hachimura, followed by
Zion would be if he can control it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, Zion's already missed so many games early in his career. He's going to have a hard time getting putting the numbers up.
He's never going to last. It's just.
No, he's just too big. He's just too big. Too heavy.
And he doesn't have the discipline to.
No, he's a little bit like
his
Shaq.
career the way that LeBron has managed his career.
No, he's like Shaq the first 7 years of his career.
Yeah. Imagine Shaq or Zion with LeBron's mindset.
Oh, forget about it.
Yeah,
forget about it.
Yeah,
because both those guys, I feel like, for the first 7 years, 6-7 years of their career, really got by largely on talent.
Yeah. Yep.
And it wasn't until Shaq started, really getting panned for not being a player who could do it all, couldn't take his team all the way,
right,
that I felt like he put together that conditioning season that led to his MVP year where he slimmed down. He took the weight off of his lower core and he just moved better across the board, both ends. And he was motivated. And he was in his prime.
And quickness and weight are so tightly related, man.
Well,
it's just incredible. You watch guys like LeBron and the quickness that he still has with that weight.
That's the issue with LeBron.
He weighs? He's got to weigh 280. 270?
I think he's under 280. I'll bet he's like 265, 270 in that.
Right. It's
there's the chats. Hey, there's Gary. All right. Hey, there's some folks. Hey, everybody. Gary, come on. Hold on a second. Lakers won't even make the playoffs. Whatever. Now, I will say this. Since our talk last week, Houston has continued to not lose. Golden State has lost a couple of times.
Yeah.
And that is a much closer race than I think everybody in the Bay Area is comfortable with right now. Because
the Warriors are not going to be able to beat the Lakers. So they're
not going to be able to get out of the play-in. They're not going to get out of the play-in if the way they're playing.
No, they're the number 10 team, period.
I mean,
although they could even get taken over by Houston, this is
what I'm saying. If they keep playing 500 ball the rest of the way, Houston looks like they're going to play 700-800 ball, and they will pass them.
Yeah,
and that will.
It'll be hard for us to get up to the 7-8 thing, I think.
It's like Sacramento got up to play us, and then they've lost 2 out of 3. So it's still anybody's ball game up until 7. I don't know that we'll get to 7. I think we can get to 8 if Sacramento kind of flounders. Dallas was floundering.
Well, the problem is you got 3 teams with us 29 losses, and
no, I know it's going to be tough, and we don't own the
32 losses,
we don't own the tiebreakers against the teams in front of us. Unfortunately, is the other issue.
Yeah, so and frankly, I don't think the Lakers really. I don't think that they're going to bust their butts, and it's like we talked about last time. I think we're both pretty much in agreement that. Let's stay healthy. Let's figure out our little problems. Let's integrate the guys that are coming back. Yeah. Let's see what Vando can do. Can he actually get back and then take it light and easy on LeBron and AD. Let's not get them injured. Let's go in. Let's get healthy because we aren't going to get that week off that other teams do. We're going to have to play 2 games probably.
Yeah.
And so let's just be ready to win those 2 games and move into the playoffs. And somebody's going to be scared shitless of playing us in the 7 or 8 slot. That's for sure.
Yeah, no. And the play.
This is 1, 2, and 3 teams are going to be looking really hard at who they're going to be matching up with in the playoffs.
It would be ideal if we could get the 7th seed, play 1 play-in game, that's within reach.
1 play-in game and then play the Thunder in the first round.
And if we could get 7 in the 7-8 seed, that's in the 1 play-in game territory. Yep. That in my opinion, that's the only goal left. There's no getting to 6. That's
stupid to try to get to 6.
6 is right out. You want home court advantage.
Trying to get to 6 is like trying to win the in-season tournament.
Well, we won the in-season.
You don't win anything if you do it. All you do is lessen your odds of going any further.
No, I disagree with that completely. It gives LeBron a full week off to get treatment on his ankle, and I think that would be ideal.
Okay.
There's nothing better than rest for LeBron right now. There's absolutely nothing better than rest. There's no amount of practice. There's no amount of film sessions.
Nope.
That's
I
all,
agree 100% on that.
That's all for the rest of the team.
But I also don't think that they're going to bust their butt trying to do that. But
because
if opportunity
no.
knocks, they might answer.
Listen, if we win out the rest of the season and like Phoenix, Dallas, Sacramento all kind of tumble a little bit, it is mathematically possible. Do I think it's realistic? I don't. I think it's more realistic. The most realistic scenario I see happening right now is that Golden State continues to play 500 ball and Houston continues to play 700-800 ball. And if that's the case, then it's going to be a much tougher series, frankly, for the Lakers at 9-10, or it gets a lot tougher because Houston will be on a heater. They'll have been playing really, really well to close out the season, which is what you don't want to have happen. You'd rather have
and Golden State. We really have Golden State's number, and they don't shoot well at the Staples, and there's all sorts of little factors in there.
I mean, I don't like any one game scenario with Steph Curry involved. Frankly, I don't care where he is. Everybody will be like, "Oh, he shoots terrible." Don't jinx it. Stop.
Right.
Just stop talking about
it. That again is the worry of the play-in tournament. It's the fact that you got to win 2 games or you got to win 1 game, and there's no offset. You lose, you're out. That's it. You're end of run. It's Cancun, baby.
1, 2, 3, Cancun. Gary, you are a ray of sunshine today, and a rainbow with a unicorn on top of it. Although I will say I tend to agree. I do not think that Vando will be returning this season. I mean,
I actually think he's going to return this season. I do believe he will.
You think that he would both be fit enough to play major minutes, be good enough to have a positive impact in the playoffs, and they'd let him play? I mean, let's look at the Lonnie Walker lesson, right? Mm-hmm. Like Lonnie Walker was playing great, hurt his ankle. It took a drastic turn of events in the Golden State series for them to even consider putting him on the floor. And when they did, when they finally did, he had a skill set that was applicable to that series. He was a much better 3-point shooter than Jared Vanderbilt has proven himself to be over the course of his career. And he got, he had an impact on the game. Now that ended quickly once we got to Denver, and then
but that was a different situation because we have a specific need that really at this point in time, Vando's really the only one who can do it unless we actually find that Dinwiddie can do it. I actually think that you read these rumors that the reason we didn't make a deal at the trade deadline was because the front office and ownership decided that it was a hopeless case to be able to win this year. And that was primarily because they felt Vanderbilt was out for the year.
Yeah.
And now, funny, after that recent report from CBS Sports that all 3 of them were destined never to come back.
Sure.
There seems to be a change, and it seems to be, at least, and a lot of it is driven by Buha, that the sense that the players get is that Vando will return, but Gabe won't, and mostly because they just are worried about Gabe. They don't want to put the pressure on him, having not played at all the entire year, and Spencer's doing really well, so why take his minutes away for a risky situation? But everybody seems to be pretty confident now that there's a good chance that Vanderbilt will play, and that has to be based upon what they're seeing from him in practice and on the court, even though he's not cleared for contact practice or anything.
Yeah, so that's just so I think he's basically doing rehab work still. He's not doing drills. He's not doing non-contact court work.
No, he's doing one shots and stretches to get that foot in shape and so forth.
And frankly,
feet are a funny thing. Feet, those foot injuries are just
I remember
sprains, and
Albert Pujols was never the same once his plantar fascia went, and that was it. That was the end of all that money the Angels spent.
Bill Walton, you go down the line.
You go down the line of guys. So I would rather, honestly, his big money deal kicks in after the summer or this summer. So I would take the same approach with all 3 of them, which is if you're going to come back this season, it's going to be in such a limited role. Why not just try to take time?
Well, I do agree with you to that extent, Jamie, that I think that he has to really be really ready to play. If he's really ready to play, he'll play. If there's any question about whether he's ready to play, then he shouldn't play.
Yeah, but the other thing, listen, you know what a huge Vando fan I am. I'm Vando fan number one on the blog everywhere. I've been extolling his virtues for a very long time. His detractors, I think, don't quite understand the nuances of basketball, especially on the defensive end of the court. I understand.
It also depends. He's an impact player and a difference maker on defense when playing that way. But also, there was a good part of the season last year where he wasn't playing that way.
No, well, so
earlier this season, when after the injury and the start and so forth, he hasn't been playing that way. But that 2 or 3 weeks that he was before he got injured, that was the Vando that we saw in the stretch run last year. That really
that's the Vando I believe he can be, and I think he can become an even better scorer and probably even a better 3-point corner three maker. If he can make
what intrigues me about it is, you notice what's happened with Rui and what the change of Rui in this lineup has done is that teams can't match up. I mean, now teams, let's say the Nuggets can match up, but most teams can't match up, and they end up with a smaller guy on Rui. So the thing I like about Vando coming in and replacing Reeves and playing the two is then you've got two guys like that whose offense is helped dramatically by playing against a smaller defender. And Rui on the boards and Rui posting guys up, they just don't know how to handle him. And Vando doesn't have those offensive skills that Rui does.
No, he's a cutter.
But as a rebounder, on the offensive glass and so forth, he'll get his 10 points per game that he has to have as a starter from that and from cutting and from, doing those types of things, which are important for the flow of the team.
If he can make.
But I love the idea of having Rui and Jared on the floor together.
I think that would be something you would see.
Pardon?
I think that would be something you would see if he was healthy.
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing: if you're going to play a 6'10" guy at shooting guard, he can play shooting guard because on offense it's positionless.
I know.
Offensively, he's totally positionless. In defenses, he's got to be able to guard that position that he plays. He's got to guard a shooting guard, and that's who you want him to guard.
It depends on the player, or the team, I suppose. But I mean, listen. The real point of the matter is he's not playing right now, and so this is all. Well, this is all for next season. At this point, I mean, I would love it if he came back. I will remind folks.
I think it's 60-40 now.
I'm still like 80-20.
You're probably 80-20, 20-80.
Yeah. And I'll tell you why. Because it took him even when he came back. Even when he came back, it took him about a month to get ramped up to the player that we saw who was making an impact on both sides of the floor.
Right.
He was taking and making 2 or 3 corner threes a game. He was taking those shots. That's all you need the guy to do. Take the shot, man. Just hit that corner three. Cut inside when the defender turns his head, rebound the ball, and then do everything you do on defense. If you do those 3 things on offense,
well, the key thing
you're going to justify the contract. If he does those 3 things on offense, he's going to justify the contract.
Well, if he frankly can justify the contract if he can just do what he does on defense and just slowly improve a little bit in offense.
Yeah.
At the worst point in time when we got into the playoffs, he had become afraid to attack the rim and afraid to take the shot. And as a result, then he was what Cam Reddish has suddenly become since he can't seem to have an impact on defense anymore.
I mean, he's that guy. I think this might be his last season. I think he has a player option, so he'll probably be a Laker again next season.
Well, that's interesting. There are a lot of guys with player options who might take those options
on the Lakers. Yeah, because maybe not Hayes.
Hayes
is 50-50.
I think Hayes wants to stay with the Lakers.
He might. We gave him his best shots to date, so that
and he's. I would like to see Hayes back next year.
I would too. Yeah. So Tom, there's some stuff going on in the chat that I think will intrigue you because as many people know, you love a good trade. There is evidently if you can believe this, there's another rumor that Kyrie's coming to the Lakers this summer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think how the Mavs do could determine that.
He's not a free agent.
No.
Let's put that. So we can't sign him. So that's thing number one. We can only get Kyrie if we trade for him. Forget what Kyrie's making. I think it's like 28 mil, 29. Maybe it kicks in a little higher than that next season. I can't remember exactly what his contract is or how it breaks down.
Low 30s.
It's going to be like 28 to 32, somewhere in there. I feel like,
which is a lot better than 40.
Oh yeah, but the only way we could get him, and everybody's like, "There's no way the Lakers could get him," and actually, that's completely and wholly false.
Yeah, we could with 3 draft picks and 3 trade swaps, they could get him.
You could get Kyrie Irving for if D'Lo opts in. Or doesn't opt in an extension with his next team, which is wholly within the rules and would not penalize the Lakers. You could easily pair D'Lo and Rui Hachimura with 3 first-round draft picks and trade for Kyrie Irving. Now, does anybody think that's a good idea? That's a different debate. But it is financially and cap-wise very possible, especially if some of these guys on vet minimum deals opt into their contracts, because those count. Those would be nice little filler that don't count against the cap as much. So if the Lakers really want,
and I wouldn't mind having Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes and Spencer Dinwiddie back.
No, I wouldn't.
He doesn't have an option, but I'd love to re-sign him.
No, but we could sign him using the MLE this summer, which could happen, depending on how Gabe Vincent responds to whatever he's going through.
Yep.
I would not be surprised if it does happen. And if they take out, I was a little bit surprised the Lakers didn't pursue the injury hardship exemption with Gabe Vincent, which makes me think that medically it's like a murky situation, because the way that works is the player has to be medically cleared for not being able to play at all. There's no chance medically
that he's done. That's the problem.
Well, listen, you're gonna have to take a physical on your next team. There's no getting away from it. You're not gonna stealth trade somebody to be like, oh look, he's running and jumping. His knee's fine. As soon as they take an MRI and see he's got no cartilage or whatever the issue is, they're going to avoid the trade. So that there's no sneaking him onto another team. I know you've got these dream scenarios where Gabe Vincent is cap filler.
I think Gabe Vincent will be traded this summer.
No,
it's not. He will be. He will be.
No, he will not be traded. Tom, how is it?
Sure, he will be.
Then you're gonna pay to do it, right? Then you're gonna pay a draft pick to do it.
No, because you're trading draft picks. Basically, any trades that the Lakers do this summer, the key components, unless it's Austin Reeves, the key components are going to be draft picks, and so that's filler for draft picks trades. It doesn't matter; they don't care. He's going to got 2 years left. It'll be fine. He's not a dead piece of weight. He's not going to add to the trade, but he's a piece that you can move. And the Lakers are going to move those pieces before they're going to move pieces like Hachimura and Vanderbilt and
okay. So let's play a quick game. You're the GM of the Charlotte Hornets.
Okay.
Lakers say, hey, you trade me. I forget his name, Miles McBride or whoever it was, the guy who's
the domestic violence.
You trade us this guy for Gabe Vincent. You're not going to do it.
Well, we trade Gabe Vincent and a first-round draft pick for him.
But that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to pay to trade him. You're not trading.
You're looking at it the wrong way. What we're doing is we're making a trade of a draft pick.
You could trade
player, and we have to match salary, so we match any salary we want.
Absolutely wrong. That is not what I'm saying at all. You could trade Hachimura straight up, no draft picks, for a bevy of players in the league. There are no players of impact that you could trade for Gabe Vincent for without attaching a draft asset. It will not happen. You will not trade another $12 million player.
I'll agree with this, that Gabe Vincent alone is not going to bring back another player that you want.
You won't even be able to include him in
But the Lakers aren't looking to trade players. We're looking to trade draft picks, and we need filler salary and Gabe's filler salary.
I understand that's what the Lakers want to do, but no GM wants to do that. They want a player too.
The only reason that GM is going to trade for, we're just both saying the same thing in a different way.
I guess
Vincent basically, you're saying Vincent has to have something attached to him, and I'm saying, yeah, Vincent basically is filler only. He's got to be in a trade where it doesn't matter. They just need salaries to match.
And that will take something like a disgruntled player begging to get off the team that they're on. And it has to be one that, yeah, sure, cool, bro. You can become my Padawan.
Well, no, or it has to be somebody who wants that draft pick for whatever reason. And then you become into the whole issue of a post LeBron James unprotected draft pick. What's that
This
worth?
joke was made many times last week. We need new jokes, chat. New jokes. That I'm only posting the one. That's it. No more Weekend at Bernie's jokes. I'm not even doing this even. We're not even doing this stuff. So it's an old joke. We ran through like 4 of those last week. They were like, I give them C+ level jokes. They weren't even that funny. Yes, my 2 favorite Lakerholics. These are okay. All right, hold on. Okay, first off, Kurt Affair, nice to see you back. Cool, bro. Your first lesson as a I don't know, whatever you want to call me, is don't listen to other people. Don't care what other people say. Believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, if you take the time to work on yourself, everything else will be fine. Somebody's like, oh, you're not this enough or that not enough. If you don't want to be those things, don't. Be you. Be you, everybody, and be content. That is my lesson to you all. Anyway, moving on. So let's look at the final. What do we got? 10 games left? 11 games left?
I thought we had 12 left.
I think we had 12 left last night.
11 left, 6 at home and 5 on the road, or something like that.
Something like that. Well, we still have a 6-game road trip coming up, so that's basically going to make or break our seeding. I feel like, because after that you have 5. I think you have 4 home. No, I think you only have. Yeah, you have 4 more home games sprinkled around, a couple more road games. And we end the season on the road in New Orleans, in a game that actually could have quite a lot of weight.
Probably not, though.
Well, for both franchises, because the Pelicans might be in a position to move up a little bit depending on how things work with Phoenix. Phoenix just can't sustain any momentum. All the bottom 6 teams cannot sustain any momentum. That's been the story of this Western Conference playoff battle. Is the first 6 teams, well, really the first 5 teams, have all been pretty solidly entrenched in the top 6 for the entirety of the season. Clippers fell out a little bit, then kind of righted the ship and have been rolling since then, unfortunately for Laker fans. And fortunately for Clipper fans. If there are any here, and I don't know what you're doing here. This is not the chat for you. We don't really think very highly of the Clippers here. And we do. Kurt has a question for us both. How do we do against Indy after a performance like last night? So my opinion first, and then I'll let Tom talk for a little, because I'll put mine very succinctly. I thought last night's game was as close to a playoff intensity game, like the level of physicality that the refs were allowing, the way that they called the game, the way it was more difficult to make shots, where it was a defense first, offense second kind of a game, was a great win for the Lakers, because that's the kind of game you're going to need to figure out how to win in the playoffs for the Lakers, likely on the road. So if you can do that now, if you can build confidence.
We won that game because of our 3-point shooting.
Great. I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
I mean, we only had 5-point advantage in free throws, 20 to 25 to 20. We lost the points in the paint by 12 points.
Well, that's because we turned the ball over 21 times. That's the thing that
gave us 27 points.
That will doom the Lakers in any series if they turn the ball over like that.
Well, it's one of the strengths of this team during the offensive explosion that they turned into a juggernaut is they really cut down on the turnovers dramatically, and so I thought that was really out of. It's kind of funny. It was almost like it was reflective of having that extra day's rest there that we aren't used to, getting 3 days between games. So I'm not as worried about the turnover problems. I think that we've really dramatically improved that. I'm impressed with the defense. I'm impressed with how Dinwiddie has looked. He has really been playing excellent one-on-one man defense.
Yeah.
And AD's it was great to see AD finally catch up with the guards on their team, especially I see him block a couple of those shots at the end.
Yeah.
Maxey is so quick to the. I tell you, man, if there's a guy in the draft named with the first name Tyrese, I might draft him. Between these two Tyreses that we've got are two of the fastest guards that I've ever seen. When they go to the hoop, you really have to be quick to block that shot because you have only a second just to get that shot up the way that Maxey puts that ball up so fast.
Sorry, my kid just started playing in her room. We'll she's asking to do some fun stuff, so we'll probably get this going here in a minute. So real quick, cool bro. I'm just gonna say that I don't watch Homelander. Darth Vader's gonna pretty much kill anybody, but maybe his son. But those are honestly what you should do. If that's the question you want to propose, you got to go watch Gerald's Pop Culture Cosmos. Post the question to Gerald. Say, hey, I'd like to talk about some versus battles here with you, and that is the forum for these type of debates. This is a Lakerholics spotlight, so we're talking about the Lakers because that's what we do basically, other than talk about our lives. So I'm thinking we win in Indy and start the road trip off right because we're going on the road now, right? The road trip begins, I believe, in Indiana. Because the Grammys are next Sunday, if that's the case. I can't remember. I don't really pay attention to the Grammys. I know we're in award season. They've had the Oscars. The Golden Globes are coming up. I think it's the Grammys weekend. So for that, what's your prediction on the Grammy road trip?
Hold on a second. I'm just looking now at the schedule.
Oh, okay. Then we'll see. Well, Tom.
So we got the Pacers. We play the Pacers game is at home, and then we go on the road for the Bucks on Tuesday, the Grizzlies on Wednesday, the Pacers on Friday, the Nets on Sunday. And then we go into the next month, April. That's the end of March, and the Raptors and the Wizards. Those are the games. I think we'll go 4-2.
I think that's I would like for us to go 4-2. I don't know that I want to predict that. I feel like there's a letdown game in there somewhere, and I feel like LeBron has a hard time with travel like this now. I think that the ankle does not respond well to flying. I think that's when he runs into issues with his recovery after games, and so I kind of expect LeBron to sit out a couple of games on the road trip, to be honest.
I think that's possible, but because I think we both sort of agree that we're not going to
go
unless something changes. There's nothing really to be gained by going 5-1 or versus 3-3.
You don't want to be playing LeBron and AD 48 minutes a game.
You want them to be as well rested and in sync as playing well.
Yeah,
going into it.
Yeah,
but there's something about. I've watched what happens on these Grammy trips in the past.
Okay.
And it seems like there's two different types of things. There's the one type of trip that you laid out where little injuries just happen to derail everything, in a bad game here and there. You blow a big lead, or you choke a game in the fourth quarter. And then the other one is that, hey, man, everybody's been at home for so long. And now the team gets to bond together out on the road, and all of a sudden, all of the distractions that you have playing at home are completely gone, and the team really can consolidate and can pull together, and it can bring them closer together. And a lot of times, the kind of run that they make going down the stretch and into the playoffs is often determined by what kind of Grammy trip they had.
I kind of agree with that.
Bring together Grammy trips that makes everybody closer and tighter, or was it one of those things that just well, man, I'm glad to get home again.
Yeah. I would hope that it's the first one. That would be the best for the Lakers. My issue, or the issue I see being most prevalent, is that it's going to come down to Darvin Ham continuing to coach like he wants to stay the coach. He's pushing the right buttons again. We haven't seen him do that much this season. Last season
I'm saying that Dinwiddie is going to save the situation.
I hope so. Well, I mean, if you read when I read that article about how long it took,
because Dinwiddie's the guy he's going to put in instead of Prince. You watch.
I don't know about that one, Tom. I'm not so sure about that. So sure. I would love that.
He had Prince on the best offensive player in the other team all the time. Now it's going to be Dinwiddie. You watch and see. That's going to be.
I mean, I don't know about the best offensive player. He'll guard the players he can guard.
Dinwiddie does well against bigger guys and very few.
He's got a solid base. No, he's a big dude. He's hard to move off his base, unlike Reeves. That's a positive. And whatever they're doing on defense is working at least one quarter a game. There's one quarter a game, I feel like, where we hold the other team.
The thing I watched was the scram switches. The switches where somebody makes a switch and you got a big guy and you immediately want to pass him off to another big and pick up a small guy. And the scram switching, I thought, was just terrific in this game. It was one of the reasons our defense was so good, was because we didn't get guys every time they made a switch and got somebody on a bigger guy, and the guy who was not with the ball ended up in a mismatch. We saw another switch happen simultaneously. And that's the type of thing that at this point in the season you have to be able to do defensively so that you can anticipate where the ball's going to go and where the next shot is going to come from. So I was pretty impressed with how that was, not only with Dinwiddie's defense, but with the coordination of everybody making the switches properly and getting people matched up against better matchups for them and eliminating those matchups where we knew that we were just going to give up a point.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the issue, is that it's just one of those things where I don't know. I mean, we're seeing Dinwiddie perform well against teams that are struggling. I'm just going to leave it at that. He's performed well against Golden State. He's performed well against the 76ers without Embiid. So all of that's what you need to do in this time of the year to keep gaining ground. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I would rely on that. I don't know how Book's doing after that ankle injury. I think they probably rushed him back because they're falling out of the playoffs.
Nobody's saying that he's Drew Holiday, but
no,
compared to the rest of the Laker guards, he is by far.
Now that is a very different comparison. I can agree with. All right, so you're saying 4-2 on the road trip. I'm going to say 3-3. I think we go 3. I think we play 500 ball on the road trip, but we win out at home the rest of the season. I think we're going to take care of home court the rest of the season, which means we'll finish the season 8-4.
Which would put us where? What do we got now?
Say it again.
Where are we now? What's our record now?
I think we're 6 games over 500, 7 games over 500. So we're I don't know what our exact record is.
Okay, so we're 38 and 32. So if we go 8 more, that'd be 46 and
6 games over 500.
46 and 36.
I think that sounds to me about right.
Yeah, that could work.
I think that's about.
I think we'll lose. I think some of those games will become meaningless at the end, and we won't even try. So I tend to think that we're going to do better in the next 6 games.
If you're in a statistical tie with Sacramento for 7, and that means you get an extra day of rest for LeBron. You're going to go all out for that game.
Yeah, but chances are the other team's not going to care, and we're not going to care, and the game's not going to care. That's what happened last year.
I mean, yeah, but last year it got set in stone. We were solidly set at 6.
But we're pretty solidly set. We're pretty solidly set at 9 now.
We could still fall out mathematically. So I'm not saying nothing about
falling out.
Hey man, if Houston doesn't lose for the rest of the season, it's going to make things very uncomfortable.
That's the Warriors' worry. That's not our worry.
They're only a game behind us. That's one whole game, and I think we play Houston one.
Come on, Jamie. We know we don't have 10 trap games left, man.
Every game is a trap game, Tom.
No, it's not.
Every game is a trap game, Tom.
No, it's not. Every game is just one more game. It's just one game. Just one game. Just one game.
Oh, don't ever say that again. You're never allowed to say that again. That's
just one game.
You're grounded, Laker Tom. I'm putting you out in the woodshed for the weekend. All right. Well, I'm gonna go entertain a 6-year-old.
Okay.
I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Let's go Lakers tomorrow night.
Yep.
Thank you, Laker Fast Break chat room for showing up and doing all the great stuff. Oh wait, we got hi Joro. By Joro I mean Joe Soro. There he is. Hey Joe. Hope the nightcap was good. Anywhoozle. Whoa, what's going on there? I am Jamie Sweet for Gerald Glassford. Like and subscribe, Lakers Fast Break, wherever you get your pop culture cosmos. No, wherever you get your podcast. I can't do the Gerald thing. He's got it so well rehearsed. I'm nowhere near the same level. Oh man, Cool Bro's really going after people with this who wins with Darth Vader stuff. Isn't there like an app you can use to like have Darth Vader fight like a bunch of zombies or whatever? Anyway, that's another thing.
Problem.
I'm sure you can do anything these days with the right browser. So anyway, for Laker Tom, I'm Jamie Sweet. Please like and subscribe us right under Tom over there. If I can make my hand do what I want it to do. There we go. And stay safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which really doesn't
eliminate many things.
Really, just don't run over people with steamrollers. I think is pretty much where I top out. So, and if you have a steamroller, man, I don't know if you can get away with it. Anyway, have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah, make somebody's day good.
There you go. That's the right. That's even better. That's a great way to end it.
Okay. See you later, Jamie. Thanks, guys. Bye.